Hey, it's Paul. Welcome back to B&B Talk. Do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. Thank you. Now I'm going to jump right into things because there's a lot to cover in this one. Another Bill episode. The first thing we see is Steffi, and she's struggling to put together a press release regarding Ivy leaving the company, and Liam's trying to help her with this, and she just doesn't seem to be able to get it. A Forster leaving a Forster company, no one's going to believe it. That's what she says. And then we see Bill and Katie, and they show up, and Liam actually picks the wrong time to kind of cop an attitude. He tells his dad basically to stop looking over his shoulder or micromanaging him, and at that point things get a little weird. Liam has now figured out that Wyatt went running to his daddy, and he's not happy about it. And Bill starts grilling Steffi about what happened to Ivy, and Steffi turns around and says he's an employee and he has a role, but he doesn't run the company. Bill doesn't like this either. So there's a lot of friction, and Bill then guesses that Rich doesn't know that Steffi fired Ivy. And so she doesn't really deny it. And then things get really nasty because Katie turns around and calls Liam a yes man. He doesn't take kindly to that, and he doesn't take kindly to the fact that Bill backs her up on this. Then they leave, and things are not sitting well, and obviously you know which way Bill is now leaning. And then Liam says something like, maybe we should give Wyatt a flashy title to make up for this. And obviously it's a wrong thing to say. You know, the funny thing about this is I don't know who to root for, because both of these guys are the biggest wafflers around. You've got Wyatt saying, you know, my brothers gets this, Dad, you owe me this, you gotta do this for me. And he's saying, I wanna stand up and be my own man. And then you get Liam, who is basically handed over 12% of a major company and given a huge title in addition to the one he has, and he picks that time to basically tell his dad off. Now, like I said, I don't want to root for either of them. And then after that we see Quinn, and she tells Rick and Maya that Steffi is as brutal as Rick is when he was running the company. And then they talk about Ivy being fired, and obviously no one has any answers, so they're at a stalemate on this one. After that we see Ivy, and she tells Wyatt that they have to be careful not to get him fired at Forster. Wyatt doesn't really care about this. He's actually thinking ahead. He thinks if Forster bought out his father, it would give them enough seed money to start the company. Now he's been crunching numbers. And then we see Maya, and we actually see Rick take off his jacket, and we see his shirt is covered with, looks like coffee or food or whatever. And Maya's upset because some guys at the food truck were mocking Rick for being with Maya, and they took it out on him and they threw food at him. Now Maya's upset that this happened because she was recognized, and he was recognized for being with her. And she said that she's used to having that happen to her, but she's not used to having it happen for him, and she doesn't like it at all. And Rick just stands by Maya, and he says he kind of understands what Julius might have gone through back in their hometown with people turning on him once they found out about Maya. And they discuss this a little bit, and after that we see Quinn, and she calls up Wyatt with a bunch of questions about what's going on, obviously with Ivy, and Wyatt plays coy. He does not want to throw his mom into this mix at all. But Quinn does say that she feels that opportunity's knocking, and Wyatt definitely agrees with her. Now after that we see Ivy, and she encourages Wyatt to go after Quinn, and this is what it sounds like, as a designer for jewelry while she designs the dresses. And we really get the feeling that Wyatt's not ready to pull this trigger yet. One, because he knows his father cannot stand Quinn at all, and two, because he knows what she's capable of. And then Katie shows up and says Bill is actually in the car beating his head against the steering wheel, and he's too mad to talk. And she tells them about how horribly the meeting went with Liam and Steffi and how fired up she is. And then Bill does come back in, and he asks Wyatt point blank, okay, what is it you want? And Wyatt says he wants to make him a bunch of money. Now Bill asks him some pointed financial questions about startup money, and Wyatt seems to have his facts together. It's like a Shark Tank meeting, and he's got all his ducks in a row. And then Bill says that he hates when Wyatt says, you owe me this, Dad, because he doesn't play that way, and he wants his son to know that. And Wyatt says not a great answer, but he says he's actually more of a Spencer than Liam is. He by saying he's got more of Bill's instinct. And then Wyatt looks at his father and he asks him point blank, "Do we have a deal?" And that's where we leave things off. So a really interesting episode today. Don't forget to follow us on social media. It's Paul. It's B&B Talk. Have a great day.